I'd like to welcome you to the Eden Woolley house. It's been a long time coming. Right today we're going to dedicate the bricks. These are the first 250 bricks that people have bought since since 2002. There are 251 bricks in here. It is the largest fundraiser that we had. This raised $25,000 for the restoration of the Woolley house. And we certainly want to thank everybody who has contributed. I think it came out pretty nice. There are additional people who have bought some since February, and they're still for sale. And we are going to have probably by next spring, we're going to have a walkway that'll come from the house back here to the playhouse. So additional bricks will be put in there, and to commemorate anybody that would like to have those done. I'd like to recognize Donna Shapega, our councilwoman, is here for us today. Deputy Mayor Heyer, State Senator Sean Kane, and State Assemblyman Mary Pat Angelini. At this time, we're going to raise the flag for the first time here at the Woolley house.
Really nice.
It'll be raised by Scout Troop 70.
That's so nice.
How about this?
Isn't that a great flag? Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, we're going to have Mary Ann Borelli sing Talking the Bell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
certainly looks wonderful to see the flag flying here.
Yes, it does.
I'd like to just say a couple of words. As you see, the Woolley house, we're going to have tours today. You'll be able to go in and see. It'll probably fully be open by the end of October. And our holiday show, which has always been at the Oakhurst School, is going to be here at the house this year. This has been a long time coming and really a lot of work. And I would say that it never would have happened if it wasn't for Ginny and Doc Richmond, who have been on top of this all the time. The wonderful thing about the Woolley house and everything here, in the Township of Ocean, we started off, they built a community pool, where a lot of people said they didn't really like the idea. It's a beautiful community pool. They bought the land for Palea Park, where a lot of people said we shouldn't do that. Here we have 208 acres of beautiful land that does not have houses on it. It's open to everybody to use. We now have a complex stay behind me with the library and human services. And this, with the Woolley house now, will become really the cultural center of Ocean Township. And very few towns have almost 300 acres dedicated to the public. And I'd like to introduce Deputy Mayor Dave Hires. Thank you.
What a beautiful day. Lovely to be here. Very proud and very happy of what's going on today. It's another part of Ocean Township's history, bringing up the history from the past. I'd like to welcome everybody, our distinguished guests, Councilwoman Donna Shepard. I don't see, our mayor is out of town. He's very sorry that he's not here, but he certainly extends his best wishes to everybody. And like I said, he's very committed to what we're all going forth with this in the community. I do notice we have one past councilman, John Huss. John, thank you for coming. You're a strong supporter. And I don't know if there's any other council people that I might have missed, but thank you for coming. And it's a beautiful day. So, just like to say, you know, not Doc, but Paul took some of my thunder, some of my speech. This would not have happened, and he's absolutely correct, if the Richmonds, Howard, Doc Richmond, and Ginny Richmond, if they haven't taken the leadership with the volunteer hours, days, weeks, years that they put forth in seeing that this continues and to grow into where we're at today and where it's going to be in the future. We thank them wholeheartedly, and there was so many people that are connected with them. I can't even begin to start mentioning their names. I'll leave that for Ginny and Doc to do, either today or whenever they wish to do in the future. But they have really committed to this from their heart. It's a labor of love what they have done. And with all the volunteerism that everybody has put forth on this, it is the great leadership that has continued that, has brought that volunteerism forth. So we really, honestly, truly, on behalf of the town, the people, Doc and Ginny, we thank you very, very much. A little background on this building. This building brings back a lot of memories to me. In 1960, I worked on the Henderson estate. The Eden Woolley house that back in the 60s was owned by the Henderson family. And so I have a lot of history with that. Remember that place, worked there a few summers and had a lot of fun. And it was a lot due to the Tandem family, who were very close to the Hendersons and the Bill Jones caretaker in Elsie. So I have a lot to thank the Tandem family, former police chief, Helen Tandem, unfortunately could not be here today, but my sister-in-law Viola Miller is here, somewhere in the audience, and I'd like to just say hi and thank her for everything that she has done with that too. We have and are preserving what we have, the culture of our community. There's so much that Ocean Township can be proud of in their culture. So all this building up is for our present and future generations to really absorb and to take in. And there's so much here. So as this all develops, please bring your friends, family. Come see what we have here. There's a lot. If you've gone into the old school, you'll see a lot that was there. And we as a council, and the past councils, are very proud of Ocean Township. Our leadership is your backing. For what we do is for what you want. And what we, like Paul said, we had Play a Park, 208 acres, 42 acres here with the human services, the library, museum, just recently the golf course, all preserved land with that too. We have and are preserving what we have, the culture of our community. There's so much that Ocean Township can be proud of in their culture. So all this building up is for our present and future generations to really absorb and to take in. And there's so much here. So as this all develops, please bring your friends, family. Come see what we have here. There's a lot. If you've gone into the old school, you'll see a lot that was there. And we as a council, and the past councils, are very proud of Ocean Township. Our leadership is your backing. For what we do is for what you want. And what we, like Paul said, we had Play a Park, 208 acres, 42 acres here with the human services, the library, museum, just recently the golf course, all preserved land, no building, nothing. It's for us to enjoy, for our families to enjoy in the future. So I think we're very happy and very proud to take that legacy with us. This is the only town in Monmouth County that has everything what we just went through with a golf course, pool, all of this. So we're very proud to be the leaders on that. In closing, I'd like to just say thank you to everyone who supports the museum, all the volunteers, everything that you have done. It's not possible unless you contribute, you help, you support, and you back. So like Mr. Rogers says every day, it's a lovely day in the neighborhood, and it certainly is. And I thank each and every one for coming today, and I'd like to say I hope you really enjoy your ice cream social later. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dave. I did not mention, but there would have been approximately 7,500 hours of volunteer work done in this house, which, when you're paying for that kind of thing, it's an awful lot of money. I'd like to now call on State Senator Sean Kane for a couple of words.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a glorious day. Thank you to Paul and, of course, to Doc and Ginny, who have done so much work, and to your local representatives, Dave and Donna, and others that aren't here today. You know, history is so important to Ocean Township and to Monmouth County. Did you know that in Monmouth County there were more Revolutionary War battles and skirmishes than in any other state at that time in the colonies? And you know, a few years ago when the state was grappling with what our motto should be and people were making jokes about it, well, how about the Revolutionary War state, just for starters? But you know, even in Monmouth County there's so much history. At the Ocean Grove Auditorium, that was the last place that former President Ulysses S. Grant made his last public appearance and his last public speech. And of course, this beautiful resource we have here, a place where kids are going to be able to come on school trips and for everyone to enjoy. So I just wanted to be here today. Somebody who's also done a lot of good work for Ocean Township, our favorite Senator Joe Palea, who's doing a great job in recovering successfully from back surgery, is not here, but he wishes to extend his congratulations and reach out to him if you get the chance. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Sean. Now we'll hear from our State Assemblyman, Mary Pat Angelini.
Thank you very much, Paul. Congratulations to every single person that's been involved with this. I know that for something to come to fruition after so many hours and so long, it didn't happen with one person. I know that Doc and Ginny are the leaders in this particular project, but I know that there were many, many others. I was so happy to see that you involved Monmouth University students and Ocean Township students. This is truly a community effort. And on behalf of the Shore team, on behalf of Assemblyman Dave Rybel, myself, and Senator Sean Kane, we are very, very pleased to announce that we are going to make a $1,000 donation to this project, and we are so very, very happy to do this. And I am so very proud to be along long-standing, long-living member of Ocean Township. So again, thank you very much and congratulations to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always like to hear about donations too. All right, thank you very much for coming. Please join us for the ice cream social. Wait a minute, Ginny Richmond, our president, would like to say something.
Hey, Paul? 50-50?
Thank you very much for your upcoming donation. When you go inside, and there will be tours, as Paul said, beginning at 1:30 on the half hour. You need to sign up for a tour. It's just downstairs right now. You will see 2 plaques on the wall. One plaque is our 2008 Finish Line Society. These are people and businesses that have donated $1,000, and yours will be added. Just take a look. This would not have happened without a lot of volunteers, and many businesses in town contributed services or goods to this project. We also had several grants. I'm not going to go into exactly all of them. They're at the front door. You can read them. I want to thank Paul Edelson. He is our BRICS chairman, and he has been very, very involved with this whole project, and we thank him very much, as his wife Marge is involved with all of our projects. And I thank all my volunteers. Many of them are here today. We also have some honorary trustees. Their names are on the wall. One of them is Ann Stiles, standing over here. Senator Pillay is one. Reva Eichhorn and Norma Everhart Dauphine are our first honorary trustees. These are people who have contributed a lot in service or some way to the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny. I did not mention, but we're having a 50-50. Hoodie Sexton is over here, probably the best salesman in the county on those. We have crafts that are all homemade from the volunteers and women. And we have our quilt, which will be raffled off in December. The chances on that, and the ice cream social. Once again, thank you for coming. And we have baked goods too. All right, thanks again.
50-50!
You're absolutely right. Sir, can I help you? Sugar-free coffee? You have it.
Oh, did you want it? Yes, we have. We even have Christmas ornaments already. Yeah, I know, I saw.
They might be having ice cream over here. It's 15
What is
minutes.
it? The house?
Uh-huh.
Here, I'll do it then. Put us together and make it.
We're going to stop in this room, so just kind of spread out in the hallway.
And come on in forward, folks.
And it's air conditioned.
Oh my God, not good.
Welcome, everybody. Come on, step forward, step forward. You're going to chat with me for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, is that okay with you?
Okay, buddy.
Excellent.
Believe it or not, folks, guess who showed up? Eden himself.
Oh, you look pretty good, right? For 250 years old. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Eden Woolley. How about that? You know what year I was born? Anybody want to take a guess? 1805, pretty close. 1805, that's a long time ago. Anybody can tell me who the President of the United States was in 1805? Pretty important guy, Thomas Jefferson, indeed. Excellent. 1805 was also the year that Lewis and Clark first started out to find the Northwest Passage, sorry. Fascinating. But we're going to skip ahead to about 45 years to 1849. 1849 was a pretty important year for Ocean Township. Anybody want to take a stab as to why that was so? 1849?
Incorporated.
incorporated, Ocean Township was created. Absolutely. And do you know who the first committeeman of Ocean Township was? Me! Which is why I'm the first person to greet you on your tour. So welcome to the house. I am here to welcome you. I am a gentleman farmer, as some people may describe me. I like to think of myself as a Renaissance man. Not only am I a farmer, but I'm also a politician. I'm also a surveyor, and I'm also a mortgage lender. So I understand that there's some mortgage problems happening nowadays. So if anybody's in the Fannie Mae family, come talk to me a little bit later. Hook you up. The percentage rates in 1849 were pretty low, so you might do pretty well. Welcome. We're very excited to have you here, to give you a little bit of taste of what life was like in 1849. I had 110 acres of land that I farmed. I raised horses, cattle, milk cows, sheep. I grew potatoes, grass seed, and hay. I lived here with my wife, Elizabeth, and our 2 daughters. Is that your name?
My name.
That's your name. Good historic name, like named after Queen Elizabeth. Cattle, milk cows, sheep. I grew potatoes, grass seed, and hay. I lived here with my wife, Elizabeth, and our 2 daughters. Is that your name?
My name.
That's your name. Good historic name, like named after Queen Elizabeth. We have 2 daughters, Mary and Sarah. Fascinating. What am I forgetting? My mind is...
Well, you're 250 years old, so we
I
have to forgive you.
I do come, bless you, forgive me.
How about this road out here, Mr. Woolley?
Thank you, yes.
You are a surveyor.
I am a surveyor, and I'm a highway surveyor, and I was in charge of clearing this, what we now call Deal Road, that stretches from Deal on the ocean all the way out west to Shark River West. The township was created in 1849 from as far west, or as far north rather, as Seabright, all the way down as far south as Shark River Hills, and including Eatontown. We broke away from a nasty township called Shrewsbury. They were trouble. And we started our own township right here in Ocean Township. Are you all from Ocean Township?
Yes.
Originally, where are you all from?
I was from the Wayside section, now I'm in Lakewood.
Wayside.
When Wayside was farms and woods, we were
Yeah,
in the way it is
yeah.
now.
Was the Wayside Inn still there and Green Grove Road?
Old Green Grove Road was.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Wayside.
There was a Wayside Inn where all the travelers used to stop on their way from Red Bank to Allaire. Back in those days...
Probably farther back.
Probably, I would think so. Back in those days, it would take a day to get from Red Bank to Allaire. Now, what, 20 minutes, half an hour? So you would stop there. Anybody else from Ocean Township? Where are you from?
Oakhurst.
From Oakhurst. You know what Oakhurst's old name used to be? It wasn't always Oakhurst. Any ideas? Oceanville.
Yes, I did.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oakhurst, Oceanville. What do you like
Oceanville.
better?
What do
I
you
like
like?
Oceanville.
Me
Sounds a little
too.
bit nicer. But I think because of all the oak trees, you got
Yes.
Oakhurst. Yes? Anyone else from Ocean Township?
Elberon Park.
Elberon Park. Beautiful. Beautiful. A lot of wealthy people over there. What are you doing later?
I don't know, I'll fix my business.
How about you?
I think I used to live near Dog's Corner.
Yeah.
Dog's Corner.
That's Highway 35 and
35 in West Park Avenue.
In West Park Avenue. All right.
right there.
Excellent.
Right back of
Traveling right behind
Right behind.
my property.
My grandfather came here to build those towers.
Did you? All right. And that gets you here. That's
Well,
great.
thank you, Eden.
Thank you.
And welcome to this beautiful home, which we've named the Eden Woolley House. We just had the privilege of meeting Eden himself, can you believe it? And the future home of the Ocean Township Historical Museum. I bet most of you know that we have a museum now, right? And it's in the old Oakhurst Schoolhouse building. It's been there for about 25 years. And every year we have a big splashy exhibit in December, first weekend in December. Well, come hell or high water, this year, that exhibit is going to be in this house. So we're tremendously excited about that. And I want to kind of just explain to you a little bit about the journey that has gotten us to this point. You can see here a picture of the house on a flatbed truck. The house was originally 1/4 of a mile west on the corner of Route 35 and Deal Road. It became available to the township, and it was moved by lifting it up off its foundation, putting I-beams underneath it, putting it on the back of the truck, and literally pulling it, winching it, foot by foot, through a swath we cut in the woods over there, to a new foundation that was built here for it to rest. And now it sits proudly as one of the part of Ocean Township's new cultural center. We have a new library, we have an historic park, and now we will have a museum. So we're really privileged to be part of that. Of course, when we lifted it up, we noticed that all of the wood underneath the house was rotten. So the first thing we needed to do was to replace all of those wooden sills. And that was just the start of many, many, many major undertakings, including replacing replastering all of the walls, replacing the floors, finishing the floors, rewiring the entire house, replacing shingles, having every window. We saved the old 6/6 panes, but we redid every window on the bottom floor. And in sum, we have spent 7,500 volunteer work hours of people who gave their time and skilled effort and saved us $150,000. Beyond that, including the move, we've spent about $800,000, and we're not quite there yet. So we're going to get over that finish line somehow by December. So there's no charge for our tour, but if you would like to give a donation on your way out, we would certainly appreciate it. So the question is, this was an awful lot of work. Why was this house worth saving, and why did we name it after the Woolleys? Well, the Woolley family was one of the founding families of Ocean Township. The first Woolley that we know of who came in the late 17th century, before the Revolutionary War. His name was John. In 1697, he bought 500 acres from Thomas Potter. The Potters were another of the founding families. Those 500 acres include all of Joe Pelea Park, all the land we're on, and over and across Route 35 west into Wayside. This house was, I just saw another ghost, I'm sorry, it caught my attention. This is not nearly as handsome as the Eden Woolley we met, but this is the Eden that comes down to us through the history. And we chose to name it Eden Woolley because Eden lived here the year that the township was incorporated, 1849, and he was one of our first councilmen. So of all the family names we could have chosen from the Woolleys, we chose him for that significant pivotal year. This is an illustration of the house. We actually have a gorgeous model of it. We just aren't going to put it here until the construction is finished so that it will be safe. The original part of the house is this part. We will go into it shortly. It was built in 1747 as best we can estimate. It was built using a construction style called Dutch timbering, which is unique to Central Jersey. This part here is done in Greek Revival. Greek was very popular at the time that it was built, which was the early 18th century. No, yes, 19th century. And it was shortly after our revolution. So we were very much into democracies, so the Greeks were like idols to us. So this was a very popular style at the time. So this was estimated to be between 1800 and 1825 that this part was added. Our dear Eden, being quite a man about town, having all of these political and surveying and money laundering and farming jobs, had the affluence to want to kind of spiff the place up, so he built this Greek Revival porch on the front that we see. The house stayed in the Woolley family until the late 1920s, and the family that bought it from them added a modern kitchen, which is on the far eastern end of the house, right? So we won't go into there, it's an empty room right now. We will be reviving it as a kitchen. I just wanted to let you know that when the house opens in December, it will not be furnished as a historic home. The house itself is an historic artifact, and we will always respect and share our knowledge of it with you. But each of these rooms will become a gallery. This is the West Gallery, and it will have a changing exhibit 3 times a year. We're hoping we'll be able to put a new exhibit in here. And we will invite historical societies from surrounding towns, all of which were once part of Ocean Township, to come and tell their stories here. And then we have 2 other galleries that will be permanent galleries. One is Our Town. It tells the story of Ocean Township. and the other is Hearth and Home, and it will tell the story of the Woolley family. And in telling the story of the Woolleys, it will tell how life changed over the 2 centuries that the Woolley lived here for all of the people that lived in the area. So, and upstairs we will have a research library, we'll have an office for our administration, we'll have some workrooms, we'll have a second handicap bathroom. And I just wanted to point out to you that the museum will open and sustain itself 100% volunteer. So we have raised the money, the $800,000, some grant money, but fundraisers, I'm sure you've all supported us in that, and donations, and dollar by dollar, we've eked this out with blood, sweat, and tears. So I hope you love it as much as we do. So let's go and see if we can find anybody else who may have showed up at this house for us today. This is the Our Town Gallery. So this is where we will tell this. Remember, we learned from Eden that everything from Shark River in the south to Sandy Hook in the north and west to Eatontown and Neptune was once part of Ocean, and one by one they seceded. So what we will do in this room is tell the story of what today is Ocean Township, Wanamasso, Oakhurst, Woodside, but going all the way back to its beginnings, right? So that we will have a wall for each part of town. But I do notice that if we put ourselves in the mindset of, say, 1927, I believe we have someone who might like to tell us a little bit about the history of the town from that perspective.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Louise, a writer from New York. What's your name, honey? Oh, aren't you the bee's knees? Well, while I was waiting for you to arrive, I've been writing in my diary about all the swell things I've been doing here on my little vacation. It's been a while since I visited my cousin Ellen, so I thought I'd escape the heat and hustle and bustle of the city for a bit of country living on her farm here in Oakhurst. She met me at the Interlaken train station with her lorry. What a kick. The station is so busy. During the summer season, 100 trains stop there every day. And then on the way back to her farm, we passed the Oakhurst schoolhouse. Well, the population in town sure has grown because they had to add on 2 more classrooms and an auditorium. And the teachers' salaries have really increased too. They make well more than $1,000 a year now. Not bad. Ellen worked so very hard on her farm, but I did manage to pry her away one day so we could go to Asbury Park. We jumped into her Model T and actually got it started. And along the way, we were laughing and catching up on old times. I'm Louise, a writer from New York. What's your name, honey? Oh, aren't you the bee's knees? Well, while I was waiting for you to arrive, I've been writing in my diary about all the swell things I've been doing here on my little vacation. It's been a while since I visited my cousin Ellen, so I thought I'd escape the heat and hustle and bustle of the city for a bit of country living on her farm here in Oakhurst. She met me at the Interlaken train station with her lorry. What a kick. The station is so busy. During the summer season, 100 trains stop there every day. And then on the way back to her farm, we passed the Oakhurst schoolhouse. Well, the population in town sure has grown because they had to add on 2 more classrooms and an auditorium. And the teachers' salaries have really increased too. They make well more than $1,000 a year now. Not bad. Ellen worked so very hard on her farm, but I did manage to pry her away one day so we could go to Asbury Park. We jumped into her Model T and actually got it started. And along the way, we were laughing and catching up on old times. She took me by the Deal test site. Bell Labs took over the test center a couple years ago, and a lot of scientists and technicians have moved into town. You may have noticed the towers over this direction. You know, the test center was the first station to broadcast musical programs for entertainment. In fact, in the Asbury Park Boardwalk, there's something called a radiophone roller chair. It's like those wicker chairs in Atlantic City, you know, where they push you along. But in these, you can listen to broadcasts from the Deal test site. We had so much fun in Asbury that day. We strolled the boards, we bathed in the ocean, and we had some of that delicious saltwater taffy from Criterion Candies. You know, the kind that really sticks in your teeth. Then we took in a movie at the Mayfair Theater. It's Walter Reed's newest and my favorite. Have you been there yet? It cost him nearly $2 million to build it, and that's not including the land that it's sitting on. It's magnificent. It looks like a Spanish castle, and the sidewalks outside just glitter. We love that special effect in the auditorium ceiling. When you look up, you see a sky with drifting clouds. Then as it gets closer to the start of the picture, it turns into a sapphire evening sky with lots of twinkling stars. How do they do that? Ladies, you must make a trip to the powder room there. It's the berries, very swanky. My cousin Ellen, she's a swell kid, but she can be a bit of a wet blanket sometimes too. She's mortified that I smoke. Although a lot of women do nowadays. After all, it's 1927. We've been bobbing our hair and raising our skirts for some time now. And she never set foot inside a speakeasy. Oh, no, no, no. There's 7 of them here in town, you know. By the way, there's one just down the road and kind of tucked in. It's called Crestwood Lodge. I'd avoid that one if I were you because you might run into the purple gang there. Ross Fenton Farm is the most popular. It's on Deal Lake in Wanamassa. All the big names appear there. Sophie Tucker, Eddie Duchin. The locals like to sit in their canoes and listen to the music as it drifts across the lakefront. They even flew in Helen Morgan by seaplane one night after her final curtain on Broadway. Residents held torches and they lined the banks of the lake and across Sunset Avenue Bridge so the pilot could land safely. Everything went well, a couple of swamped canoes, but she made the midnight show. The supper menu is fantastic there. Everything from soup to nuts. Try the Royal Lobster dinner, it won't set you back more than $4. And you won't want to miss getting a look at the fantastic Pheasant House because that's where they store the hooch. Oh, this is important. When you go up to the bartender to order a drink, remember to speak easy. That's where I'm heading now, that's where I'm getting all dolled up. Well, how do I look? Great. Ready to dance to Charleston all night. I gotta get a wiggle on because my gentleman friend will be here any second. And before I know it, that old rooster will be waking me up at the crack of dawn.
Okay, Dolly, I've been in these people's ears for a long time now, and we have to start speaking easy. So, we will see you.
23 Skidoo. Thank you, Louise.
Oh my goodness! Look at all these people here today.
We have a few more. Phoebe, how sweet of you to show for us.
Well, why wouldn't I show? I live here.
Before we listen to Phoebe, let me just tell you that this room is the part of the house, you can tell the ceilings are lower, and this is the Dutch timbering style that was built in 1847. This little lean-to in the back was added shortly after that. So this is the house that Thomas lived in with his family, and I believe that a member of his family, oh, and when we open this as a gallery, it will be called Hearth and Home. And in this room, we will tell the story of the Woolley family through the 200 years they lived here. And in telling that story, we will illustrate how home life changed for local residents over 2 centuries. So I believe that we actually are privileged to have one of Thomas's wives here with us tonight.
Hi, I'm privileged to have you here in my home. And welcome to my home, my husband Thomas. Thomas Woolley be a good man, a good farmer here in the Township of Shrewsbury. He is out for the evening today, but he should be back by supper. Business with one of the neighbors took him away for a few moments. But if I can introduce myself to you, I am Phoebe Woolley. I am my husband's third and hopefully final wife. It's true, we've both lost spouses over the years, but we have such a wonderful union of our families. I and my 2 children, and he and his 11. Oh, you laugh. It's commonplace for for any family here to have 11 children, or even 15. You don't know, neither of us know who is going to live past 3 years old, or past birth. So it's a very rough time, though it's good use to have so much children when we have a working farm here, which we're very proud of. We're very proud of our farm. It stretches all the way here, a good section here of poplar, a poplar being named after the fine poplar trees that we have growing here. You must have seen here on your journeys. Though we have much here, we have much beautiful things here, which I'm very proud of. We are simple people. We live simply. We are members of the Society of Friends, or if you would have us, Quakers. And we open our doors to our friends such as you all the time. So please, again, make yourselves at home here. And just to talk about the education of my children. I'm very proud of my children. They all can read and write. Can you all read and write? Yes. Oh dear, can you read and write? You can. Oh, good, that's good to hear. But there have been travelers down the pike who have not been able to read or write. When they see signs, they know not what the establishment is. They know it's a tavern if they see a big tankard of ale on the sign. There's so many cannot read and write. But my husband's brother, he is going to build a school so that the children here in Faulkner can learn and probably read and write. That's for the adults as well. So as for their education here goes mostly what they learn here on the farm, the chores, such as you, young lady. If you were one of my children right now, I'd have you tending to the wash. Washing clothes. It's that time of the month. It's a fine time of the month too. It's a beautiful day to be washing the clothes. And perhaps even scalding the sheets of the beds. It's that time of the month as well. So, and you, sir, you would be outside, and you, sir, as well. You would be outside tending to our cows, milking our cows this morning at 5 a.m. And perhaps you'd be feeding our chickens, taking in the eggs, and doing all the chores that we need to keep this farm moving. But besides the reading, the writing, the chores you must do on the farm, there are also some other things that you might find it boring doing all the chores, as do my children. So they have taken up instruments. They play music now. Taking after them, they're doing Miller. They play the flute, they play the harp, they play the clavichord, and also they play the drum. I tell him, make a joyful noise. And apparently my fine pots and pans were not good enough for him. So, I see you admiring my heart. Would you like me to play something for you? Would you? Of course.